Hi guys, I'm back. I know it's been a while since I updated you, and a lot has happened. A lot has happened, and I want to definitely update you and give you an update as what's been going on. I made a video, but I didn't put in that video what happened. Like, I didn't like give you a straight through. I kind of gave you this but forgot this. So that's what this video is. This video, it shouldn't be too long, but yeah, I definitely want to catch you up to date. So let's get into the video. Okay, so not last week, the last time I made a video, I gave you my 6-week update as far as the pregnancy was concerned. And I left out some stuff. I was like, oh man, I left out this, but I'll update them in the next video, let them know. So that's what I'm gonna do, tell you about that. So in my 6th week, I mentioned that I had like 3 bleeding spells. 2 was like that Sunday, then a Monday. Then I went to the doctor that Tuesday, babies was fine. And then Wednesday, I had another bleeding spell. And I think it was that Thursday, I had a dream that something happened to one of the babies. I kind of brushed it off because I was like, I don't want to be negative, blah, blah, blah. You know, we just came from the doctor 2 days ago and everything is fine. You know, because we saw the babies in there and both babies had a heartbeat. So we was like, okay, so the bleeding spell the next day after, I didn't really think too much about it because I'm like, I had bleeding Sunday and Monday and everything was fine. But this dream I had was so weird. I know I mentioned that before I knew it was twins, I mentioned that I could sleep on both sides. So with my normal pregnancies that I had, I was only able to sleep on one side or the other, not both sides. So that was kind of weird to me. And then that made me to believe that I was having one of both genders. And I thought that because with my other pregnancies, I could sleep on just one side. And of course, you can't have a baby with 2 genders. So I was like, okay, so maybe it was a boy for this side, or maybe it was a girl for this side, or vice versa, whatever. So that Thursday, I had a dream that something had happened to one of the babies. And I was no longer able to sleep on my right side. I could not fall asleep on that side. I normally could fall asleep on either or if I wake up in the middle of the night to go to pee, I could fall asleep on either or. But for some reason, I could not sleep on that other side that Friday after the dream. And so I'm like, okay, that was the side that I was also getting less sensation on. So I kind of thought that was maybe the smaller baby and the bigger baby on this side. So on this side, you know, I wasn't getting as much sensation, but that was also the side that I could no longer sleep on. That was around my last day of my 6 weeks. So I was still figuring things out, just trying to brush it off, be positive. Because that's what you're supposed to do, right? So yes, so that's what happened the end of that week. I was still trying to figure it out. I guess that maybe that's why I didn't put that in the video, but now I know to make my notes, you know, to put that in my notes to be more detailed. So going into my 7th week, was started on Saturday. My weeks roll over on Saturday. So 7 weeks. January the 11th, I was hungry. And I started falling asleep like right after eating. I started noticing that past Wednesday, what was that Wednesday? Let's see. So that was like around January the 8th. I was starting to, as soon as I eat, I'm getting sleepy. So I started noticing that it continued. So Saturday I ate a pretty big lunch and I had to go somewhere. I had to go somewhere afterwards. And when I got there, I was fine until I sat down. I'm dozing off. My daughter's just laughing like she really thought it was funny. And I'm like, why you didn't wake me up? This is embarrassing. But anyway, so yeah, that happened. And that day, I said, watching TV in a video right after eating a lot. This was later. I was so my notes is hungry, falling asleep while watching a video after eating a lot at dinner time. Hubby cooked steak, baked potatoes with bacon, green beans, and I also had tingling nipples. Like, that's so random at the end of my note. And then 7 weeks one day, January the 12th, Sunday, I was hungry. I almost got sick when I couldn't get to my food fast enough. So I remember this. I was out and about and I didn't have access to food, but I had like peanuts in my I had peanuts in my purse. So I couldn't get to my peanuts or my candy fast enough, and I was just getting nauseous, so I had to hurry up, whatever. And I was tired, out of breath, yawning more, sleepy, all throughout the day. So that's what I had for my 7 week one day. 7 weeks 2 days was January 13th. I woke up to pee like 5 times. I was so irritated. Like, I'm like, can the nights get any shorter? I was waking up to pee too many times. Sneezing continued. And now at this point, I started wanting sweets, which was weird. I have not wanted sweets the entire beginning of this pregnancy. I did not want anything sweet. It was all about food. And I'm like, okay, now I can't sleep on this side anymore. And now I'm wanting sweets. And I'm like, okay, could this be a girl? Because girls like sweets. Boys normally like food. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe the boy symptoms tapered off and now the girl is coming through and wants sweets. We went to Kroger's and I bought Oreos, I bought Chips Ahoy, I bought ice cream. And I'm like, why is this? And I think I bought something else. I can't remember. It was just crazy. Like, I'm like, oh, I told my husband, I'm like, oh, I think it is a girl because I'm eating all of these sweets. And I had wanted sweets before. And then 7 weeks, 3 days was really, really weird. I did not feel pregnant at all. I felt totally normal. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, yesterday I had a ton of cravings, wanting this and that. And today I feel nothing. I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on? So that was like 7 weeks, 3 days. And I had appointment 7 weeks, 5 days, a standard appointment for our ultrasound. So I was like, okay, you know, we'll be fine. Actually, at this point, a relative of mine reached out to me and asked me how I was doing. And y'all know I have been big. Like, I got big really, really quick. And at that point, it was just getting so harder to hide. And so we went to Burlington and got a coat. I think I touched on this a little bit. And to try to just hide it, like as long as we could, to make sure that we were out of the safe zone before we start telling people. Honey, my stomach was getting so big. And so my relative hadn't seen me since maybe like November. This relative that asked me how I was doing. And so I was like, good, you know, just, and this relative knew that I was pregnant, going through the procedure, whatever. And so I sent her some pictures of my 5 week. And then I sent her some pictures of my 6 week. And she was like, girl, what do you think you hiding? What do you think you hiding? Because anybody could tell that I'm pregnant. So I was just like, okay, if everything goes good at this doctor's appointment, we're gonna just make a post, because it's kind of stressing me out, like trying to worry about who I'm around, and you know, did they see my stomach? Did they look at me, and like, did they look down at me, my stomach? You know, it was just too much. It was exhausting. Everything was going on with my body, and me trying to hide the pregnancy was just like becoming too much, because my coat that I had, the coat that I had been wearing, it was not because I was pregnant, right? It's just a regular coat. So my stomach is bulging at this point, and then the coat that we bought, it wasn't cold enough for that coat. I probably won't even put a picture, but it's not cold enough for that coat. Like, I live in Tennessee, so my weather is up and down, up and down, up and down. And the day that we bought the coat, the day before we bought the coat, it was extremely cold. The day we bought the coat, it was like, I didn't even wear the normal coat, the little thin coat that I was wearing, because it wasn't cold. And then we hadn't really had any more cold weather for me to wear the coat. So it's gonna be weird that, you know, we having this 50, high 40s and 50-degree weather, and I have on this big bubble coat. Like, no. So I haven't been wearing it. I just went back to my other coat, and it's very noticeable in that coat, because my buttons is like, you know, buttons go like this, but my buttons was like, it wasn't happening. So, and I put on this scarf to try to go down over, like, you know, come down my neck and come over my belly a little bit, so that maybe people could see the bottom of my belly and not all up in here. That was working a little bit, but it was getting harder, and it was exhausting trying to figure out, okay, where we going? What do I need to put on? You know, I was just kind of constantly thinking about that all the time. So I was just like, we're gonna just tell everybody, because I don't got time for this. You know, I'm pregnant, I'm happy, and I'm excited, and I want other people to be excited for me too. And I just pray, you know, that everything goes right till we get to this 12 weeks. So that was the, that day, that was the goal. You know, find out what's going on at this appointment, like free my mind of the dreams and the lack of symptoms that day, you know, and let's go. So that was 7 weeks and 3 days. And then later on that day, I started eating pickles. And I was thirsty, and my breast started to throb, and I had tingling in my breast on the left side, which was weird. Remember, I can't sleep on this side. That was weird. So 7 weeks and 4 days, I had soreness on the lower left side. The lower left side. This was the side that I could continue to sleep on. And then I was hungry, thirsty, and my breasts were growing more. I put on a bra that because I told my husband, like, I like Victoria's Secret bras. They're expensive, so I don't buy them a lot, but they last a long time. And so I told my husband, like, you know, once we get to a certain point, I'm gonna go buy some more because I know my breast is still getting bigger, and I don't want to buy some and then outgrow them and I spend all of this money on the bras. So so I was like, you know, kind of once they stop growing, then I go get some more bras. So the bras that I had been wearing, they were starting to get small around this time. Like I was like, okay, so I'm putting them on and like stuff is hanging out on the sides and like I know they growing. So that's how I was able to measure them. And then 7 week 5 days rolls around and I have my ultrasound. My appointment was at 8 a.m. that day. I was really nervous going in just because my dream and like a symptoms in my left side and my right side. I was like, what is going on? So yeah, I'll insert a clip of what happened at that doctor's appointment. I don't want to make the video too long. I think that the clip is like 3 minutes. So yes, I'll insert that so you guys can see and hear what I heard. All right, stay tuned.
I'm so sorry. There's no good way to say I'm just not seeing heart tones today.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go through and do some measurements, but both are looking really small too. So I don't know if things must have happened shortly after we did the scan last time, because just eyeballing it, the sac is growing, which is why I think you're probably feeling pulling, is that sometimes your body doesn't.
Okay. I bet you guys did not see that coming. Like, I was so hurt. So hurt. I didn't take, look, I'm getting emotional now. I didn't take my husband with me. He had to work. And I didn't take my daughters with me. Okay, I had to get myself together. I didn't take my husband. He had to work. And I didn't take my daughters because I kind of felt like I was going to get some bad news. And I didn't want them to be there for that. So yeah, nobody was there with me. It's crazy, your intuition. Like, my body was definitely trying to prepare me for the news that I was about to get, as far as my dream and as far as the lack of symptoms and things like that. I did not see that coming, y'all, at all. So after that appointment, I met with my doctor. My appointment was at 8 a.m. Like, I'm talking about as soon as I got there, and sat down. When they called me and I walked back there, it was 8:01. The ultrasound itself, maybe like 10 minutes, you know. She's looking around, you know, she tell me that she's gonna look around, and you know, as soon as she could show me. She asked me if there was anything that she could show me, and I was like, yes, I want to see what's going on. I want to see my babies. And you know, she showed them to me. They were there. They didn't have a heartbeat anymore. That was the hardest thing. So yeah, after that, I met with my doctor. I probably didn't leave that office until 10:15. My doctor is so thorough, and I love that about him. First, you know, when they put me back there in the room, my doctor was actually doing an egg retrieval, so he was in the middle of finishing it up, so that can take some time. And so I text my best friend, and then I text my mom, my brother, and my sister-in-law. And you know, they really comforted me. Well, first I texted my husband, and my husband was working, and when he got that text, he called me. He doesn't like texting, for one. He's not one of them texting people. He will do like speak to text, because he's not gonna do all of that. And then he called me. When something like that is going on, my husband is loud. I'm in the doctor's office, and I'm like, oh my God, I know this man is gonna be loud. I didn't answer, and I texted him, and he was like, look, I'm not trying to do all this back and forth. Like, I need to talk to you. What is going on? Like, you can't be serious. And I'm like, I'm serious. And that was hard for him, because he was more excited than anyone. More excited than the kids. He wanted those babies. Like, he was excited. Me, my feelings were kind of more reserved. Like, this is not real. It doesn't feel real. And I was kind of nervous, because I've only had single babies, and I was worrying about things that really I shouldn't have been worried about. Like, you know, we're gonna have to get a bigger car. We're gonna have to maybe get another house or add on to our house. Things that hadn't even transpired yet, I was worried about. You know, me taking care of 2 babies. Like, how is it gonna be going to the grocery store? You know, worry about that when it gets there. Like, that's what my mind was thinking. So it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do? It wasn't like that. I was happy. I was excited. You know, my videos tell who I am and all of that. You know, I'm not really reserved in my feelings or anything like that. I'm, you know, real. That's just how I am, like, all the time. And you know, I was thinking about stuff like that. My husband was definitely getting prepared. He has all these clothes and diapers. This man even has car seats. Like, and then guess what? The car seat is a girl's car seat. And I'm like, well, this is only when he thought it was. When we, you know, we knew when we was pregnant, he was just trying to get stuff prepared. It's purple. Purple can be for a boy, but I'm like, purple is my favorite color. You know, you getting stuff for a girl, you know, and you want a boy. So it was crazy. But yeah, he's like really prepared. He has clothes. He has bibs, diapers galore, bathing stuff. Like, we probably won't need any more bathing stuff until the baby's 2 years old. That's just how much stuff that he's gotten. As far as bathing stuff, I mean, we still have the ways to go on diapers, but we definitely don't need any more newborns diapers, because we got so many. And when we found out that it was twins, he even got more newborn diapers. So we got enough of that. But I'm just telling you to say that he was super excited, and he was definitely preparing for these babies. When we found out there was twins, I really hadn't bought any more stuff because I had bought stuff myself before we even started going through IVF, because I already knew we was gonna have some babies. So I had already started buying stuff, but I'm like, I told myself I need to slow down and I don't need to buy any more stuff until we hit that 12-week mark. Because that's when, you know, if you're on this journey, you kind of know that that's like the safe zone. You know, that's the end of the first trimester, and that's when, you know, the placenta picks up and your risk of miscarriage is extremely low at that point. So that's when I had initially wanted to tell people about the pregnancy, and that's when I wanted to pick up and kind of getting excited. But we didn't quite get to that point. And I was like so close to stopping my estrogen shots. I was so close to stopping my progesterone shots. I was just like, oh, wow. So my doctor, you know, when he came back into the room, when he came into the room, he was like, I'm so sorry. He has excellent bedside manner. I think I've said that before, but he was like, I'm so sorry. We were doing so good, you know. And I think I kind of went over this in the video that I already posted. But anyway, he wanted, you know, he was like, we have 1 or 2 options. You could do a, actually, I hadn't posted that video because I wanted to post this first, or upload this first and then post that. I actually posted, well, not posted, I actually made the video. I actually made the video after all of this happened, like a few days later. But I wanted to give like my 7-week bump date and, you know, things that had happened. Because, you know, somebody that's looking for a 7th week twin pregnancy can, you know, look through those symptoms or something to expect. But yeah, so my doctor came in and, you know, he said his condolences and things like that, and things that could have happened, you know. And he was like, we have 1 or 2 options. We can either, you know, allow you to miscarriage naturally, or we could do a D&C. I had already miscarried naturally twice, like one with my ectopic in 2018, and then once with the IVF process when we had a miscarriage back in October. And that was definitely not an experience that I was wanting to go through again, because it's painful. It's painful, it's emotional, you know, and to lessen my symptoms or trauma even more, you know, I was just like, I'll do the D&C. And he recommended that I do the D&C so that we could test the babies and see what could have went wrong. And I was all for that because we hadn't tested the embryos to begin with. So I definitely wanted some insight to what went wrong in my womb. And so I wanted to do that. So he left the room to try to see when we could get scheduled for the D&C. And he went over the result. Like, he came back and he was like, you know, one of them definitely, he told me that both of them grew quite a bit since our last appointment. And one of them had doubled in size, and the other stopped growing shortly after our last appointment. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe that's why I had that dream, and maybe that's why I could no longer sleep on that side, because it was the smaller one that, you know, the smaller one that had stopped growing shortly after our last appointment that previous week, and the other one doubled in size. And it did, you know, when your weeks, if you do the pregnancy apps or whatnot, you see that they double in size almost every week. And ours was like, what seed is that? Like not a poppy, no, it was like a sesame seed. And then the 6th week, I think it's sesame seed. And then the week after that, it's a blueberry. So it doubles in size. And so I was like, okay. And so, anyway, like it grew on. So within my 7th week, and I was like, okay, I had these sweet symptoms. So was it a girl? You know, like was maybe the one that stopped growing first a boy, then the other one was a girl. I was just thinking about that when he told me that. And so I wanted to do the DNC because I wanted to see the testing. So long story short, he came back to me, and you know, he was able to get me scheduled for the next day to have the DNC. And I was kind of nervous because it's a surgery, they put you to sleep. And I wasn't really for any more surgeries. Like, no. But the good thing is they don't cut your skin or anything. They go in vaginally and do this. So I was like, okay, like, and I didn't know where my HCG was at that point because we only tested it 2 times, and that was we tested it in the 4th week. So here we are 7 weeks. I don't know where my HCG was, so I didn't want to allow myself to miscarriage naturally, for 1, because of the pain. 2, we wouldn't be able to test the babies to see if anything could have went wrong. And then 3, you don't know when your body is going to miscarry. So that's one thing he was telling me, you know, it may be overnight, it may be on the weekend, you know, and you may not be able to get in contact with our office, you know, and you may want to go to the emergency room. You may not know what to do. So he was saying the DNC, you're allowed to control when this is happening to lessen all of that. Because he said it's going to be painful. And then it was painful when I miscarried my ectopic. It was painful when I miscarried the singleton. And this is twin, so it's going to be twice as bad, you know. And when I miscarried, it's like contractions. I've had 2 babies, so I definitely know what the contractions feel like. But, you know, it's painful. So I didn't want to go through that. And so that's why I opted for the DNC. And then with my job, I was in the training for my job, and it was 2 weeks, and we can't miss any days of training. With my job, I've been there for like a little bit over 4 years, you know, and I had to tell them what's going on, you know, as to why I had to miss days, because I was in the 1st week of training, and that was on a Friday. I went to the doctor on a Thursday. The DNC was I went to the doctor January the 16th, and the DNC was scheduled for January the 17th. So I would have missed Friday, and then I would miss however many days it took me to recover. So they, you know, did of course allow me off. We done FMLA, and they did give me bereavement time, so which was amazing. So I took that time, you know, blah blah blah. Anyway, that's probably another video. I didn't want it to be too long, but I'll go over that stuff a little bit later, things that happened after the DNC. So I've already posted, well, not posted, I don't know why I keep saying it. I've already made my DNC video. I have not posted it because it wasn't fair to just jump right to that and not tell you all this stuff that happened before. So, you know, that could be something that, you know, somebody could definitely go over if they experience the same thing. Not to say that will happen to everybody, but, you know, just be mindful of what's going on. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, everything's okay, don't worry. Definitely speak up and say what's going on. Every time something went wrong, I emailed my nurse, and I was very aware, and she was very aware of things that was going on, things that happened, you know. And that last week, the 6th week, I didn't have an ultrasound appointment till to Thursday, but with me, you know, saying, hey, I'm having these bleeding spells, you know, I need to get seen before then to make sure that everything is okay. And I was able to get an appointment. So definitely speak up if something's going on. in my case, I don't know how we could have prevented this from happening. So yes, I may go ahead and make another video just because it's a little bit off topic of what's going on. Today is 2 weeks after the D&C. Today is January 31st, right? So it's 2 weeks exactly after the D&C. I went to my post-op appointment yesterday, and we have the results of the babies, what went wrong with them. So I'll update that, the genetic testing, I should say. We have the genetic testing, and I did the post-op appointment, and we're working on a plan to come up with as far as next transfer. So ladies, if you're going through this, or if you're, you know, on the road to transfer and you have downs, keep moving. You know, I took my time off. I think my last video was maybe like a little bit over 2 weeks ago. Take your time, you know, to heal, grieve, whatever, but don't give up. Don't give up. Just pick up your pieces and keep going. Okay, we got 10 more embryos, and I know some of those embryos are just dying to be born. So we're gonna keep moving until we get to that point. So IVF is hard. Like, it is extremely hard. There are ups and there are downs. You see my ups, and you have definitely seen my downs. So don't stop until you are satisfied with the outcome. So yeah, that's my updates. I'm sorry I hadn't came to you sooner, but a lot was going on. I had to finish the training with my job because I was behind. I had to get into my new role because I transferred to a different department. So, and then life, and a lot has been going on. So I'm updating you as soon as I can. So yeah, thank you, ladies. For those that are new to my channel, thank you for stopping in and stopping by. I hope that you like this video. I hope you also subscribe to my channel, because I will be uploading videos more frequently. And I'm just gonna be honest and transparent with you. I'm not gonna hold anything from you, because I've opened myself up and I've opened my life up to you to share my journey, and it wouldn't be fair for me to leave things out, things like that. So I'm definitely gonna be transparent. Put a comment down below if you want a response to that. I'll definitely be active with you guys, and I love conversing with you and talking to you about your journeys, and I'm excited for everyone. Okay, that doesn't change, because I know we're gonna have success. I know we are. So I know around this time next year I'm gonna have a baby or be pregnant, one of those. Like I have faith. I have that faith as small as that mustard seed, as the Bible says. So I know we can get through this. We just got to get past this, and we gonna get it. All of us is gonna get it. Okay. So all right, the video is extremely long, and I'm sorry. I know I can get a little winded, but it was a lot to update you guys with. But yeah, I'll upload this video soon after. I'll upload my D&C video, so you can see the things that happened then. All right, stay tuned. Bye.